Really Rich podcast. I am here with a great friend of mine, childhood. We're here for an extra silly goose time. Give him your background, bro, because it's all I know is music your whole life, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, first let me say, when you say good friend in childhood, I mean, it doesn't really go as far back as it does with you and I, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and there's not many people that I'm in contact with today that go as far back as kindergarten or maybe even before that, right? How many years is that, actually?
You might be the only one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how many years is that now?
Our whole life?
Yeah, I mean, how it's like, how many people do you get to say, like, oh yeah, I've known this guy for 25 years?
Damn, that's true. I wish we could remember the shit we talked about at such early age, you know what I mean?
Probably, oh man. I mean, who knows?
A lot of it was wrestling, dude. I love that we used to talk on the phone and guess what was going to happen on WWE and WCW, and we would predict it right.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, actually, you know what, that does bring up a memory. I remember, man. Well, dude, so much has changed now. I mean, like, think back when the only phone that you had was the one that was attached to a cord in your house, you know? The house phone number.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. And I remember in the morning I had woken up and my mom was like, hey, Joseph called asking for you last night. And I was like, oh, what is... and he wanted me to let you know that Eddie Guerrero was admitted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And that's like how I found out. Because you called me at night and I was like already asleep, I guess. But man, it's like, you know, nowadays it would have just like popped up on your phone, like, oh, this happened. And
that's a good ass point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Shoot.
But just the idea of sometimes they would do things where you're like, bro, there's no way they're giving this belt away before this main event, like in the next couple of weeks. You know, someone's going to disqualify and no winner's coming. Like, you could predict things that were just like overly hyped in a normal weekday type of shit.
There's no way Tajiri's winning the belt on a Thursday,
dude. And there was a lot of iconic people that were not around very long, if you think about it.
Yeah, I think I don't know how long Tajiri was around. I mean, he was just like one of those guys that would. Because do you remember? For a long time, I did not have access to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember why. I don't know if it was
like a channel thing.
Yeah, but what I did have was Velocity, which aired on Spike TV, like on Thursday nights or something like that, and. What that would do with Velocity was it would have like all like the kind of like that really low entry guys, and every once in a while they would throw that audience a bone and have like a superstar on there. And what that would also do, Velocity, it was basically advertising all the stuff that was going to be happening for a main event coming up.
Damn.
And hyping it up. And you know, I don't think I ever actually got a wrestling pay-per-view. You know, it was just all Monday Night Raw and Velocity that I would watch.
I've definitely paid for WrestleMania a couple times in my life.
Nice. Yeah,
I don't know if I'm proud of that though.
I mean, if I was a kid, I would be proud of that.
Yeah, because we bought the video games too, bro. We were obsessed.
Oh man, that was probably like one of the ways that I learned about it too. I mean, that I got to know like all the characters, like, you know, all those stars and stuff too. I mean, that was a time. Those games, I'll say that the games that were made in the early to mid 2000s are better than the games that are out right now. Like, just in terms of playability, you could do anything, man. It was so fun.
That is true. I just think it's because it was already peaking then and we didn't know it, you know? Now it just looks a little better. It's not so much the gameplay or dynamics. We've kind of thought of a lot of shit. But the Boogeyman was such a weirdo, bro. I still think about it.
Yeah, you know, he's been more than one person, like more than one character in WWE. I can't remember who else he was. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's also related to someone else too.
That just makes me think. Like, imagine his resume. Hilarious.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and
I'm just a mascot.
I just can't imagine like the conversation like backstage, and it's like, yeah, what if your next character eats worms?
Yeah, I know. It had to be his idea for real. For real. I don't think he was pitched.
I wonder like how much, if you had to like go and look at that character, like how much cultural appropriation is going on with that
dude character? No, for real. I thought about that too, definitely. And also when I was watching before we started the podcast, I was like, bro, I was jamming some Nickelback for some nostalgic memories, but the video was the Spider-Man movie. And I started thinking, I was like, dude, so much, even that time we're talking about video games, a lot of stuff peaked then too. Like, talk about how Chad Kroger's voice was just like a staple of like, I don't know, a standard of singing for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I think people, I don't know what it was. It felt like it became cool to hate on Nickelback for the memes, you know? But they were a great band.
I know. They just didn't recover from that.
Yeah, it's
but crazy. They're still touring right now.
I believe that. They just have very sustainable music. It's like timeless, you know. It's like they weren't singing about the Twitter and Snapchat of the day, you know. It was like they were just singing about what every sustainable artist sings over the years, you know. It's about love and heartbreak, and you know.
And it wasn't too cliche because the melodies made up for it.
Oh, great melodies! I mean, I tell some people sometimes that you can judge the quality of a song by how many themes in the song you can think of and sing. So, for example, like this is just a random example of this, but think of like the 007 theme. How many things can you sing from that make it recognizable?
Yeah.
So there's
I think another way to describe that, before you can do the melody, but another way to describe that is everything's a hook into hook into hook.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to describe it. So I mean, you don't even have to sing it, but it's like the intro is one, right? That main ba-da-ba-da.
Yeah.
Even the little background stuff, the like
creeping,
like all of that is just iconic. Layers and layers of iconic material. Yeah, and not to say that that the 007 theme is the first comparable thing in Nickelback, but I mean they just did a really good job of creating really memorable melodies, and
I have another comparison.
Some good stuff with it.
I would compare Nickelback female version Avril Lavigne because of the melodies.
Yeah, I mean that's just quintessential.
Vocal range. I just think the vocal range and the melodies, they kind of do the same patterns and stuff. That had a huge impact, dude. We don't give rock music enough credit, I think. It just kind of died.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just taking a back seat, you know. Right now,
even like Crossfade. Crossfade, remember all that?
Oh, wait, I mean, dude, don't get me started. Crossfade,
Avenged Sevenfold, go for it.
The self-titled album Crossfade, I believe, is platinum. You might have to fact check me on that, but I believe that's a platinum record. It's the one that has Cold on it, and it also has Colors, and gosh, I forget which other ones, but I mean, Cold on its own is, man. I remember hearing that on 94.5.
It's just classic shit. And then I sent you 3 Days Grace today. I don't know why that was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that was in my head.
Man, that sometimes I'll just get in a mood for that kind of music, and I have a playlist that I've compiled with just that era of rock, and I'll just blast it on a long car ride, you know. And I was listening to one of my favorite songs of 3 Days Grace is Just Like You, And if you just listen to like how they double tracked the vocals on the chorus, it is like it's just masterful. And
Damn.
Breaking Benjamin,
Oh, that
same
was
thing.
good.
You know,
Firefly.
yeah, that's from the
So
wrestling
good.
video games. Yeah.
Damn, video games had a huge impact on music.
Oh yeah, the Need for Speed games.
Oh yeah, Midnight
Super
Club.
hard. Yeah, Midnight Club Midnight Club was definitely more hip hop, but they had great soundtracks.
Damn.
Need for Speed had like this interesting mix of like
Lil Jon, bro.
Yeah,
You turned on the game.
Yeah, it's like the Need for Speed Underground is the one we're talking about right now, where first track is Get Low, but then there's also like there's Static X. Like no one talks about Static X.
Dude, we played so much NBA Street.
Yeah, we did. Great soundtrack as well. That's like golden age hip hop soundtracks there.
Damn.
That's good stuff.
I don't even remember them, to be honest with you.
And
so now go for it.
Well, I need to get on a pitch to like just buy those consoles and own those games again. I some of them I like lent to people and they just kept them, and others I can't. They're probably just lost somewhere.
It's funny because my homie Ryan, who might watch this, he's like obsessed with like PS1, PS2 stuff, and I'm always like, bro, why do you care? But I mean, those consoles at this point, I guess, are relics, right?
Yeah, I mean, my buddy, I think you know Abel Gonzalez from back home. He actually goes out of his way to collect these kinds of things, like just retro video games. I mean, if you can even consider PS2 retro, but it's something about I went on with him to this guy that he met online, and basically he was following this person that does this sort of thing on YouTube. And the number one advice that he got is like, if you find someone like on Craigslist or on eBay who is selling like a PlayStation 2 game that you really want, inquire further and say, what else do you have? Because that chances are that person has a bunch of stuff.
Damn.
And so sure enough, he got in contact with this guy. This is when he and I were living in Kingsville, and we drove out to Corpus Christi, and this guy just had a box of PlayStation 2 games. And man, like, I forgot how cool it was to like open up a Grand Theft Auto case, you know, and the disc is there and it has a little slot for the memory card,
little pamphlet,
and the pamphlet with the poster, like all of that was in there. I was like, man, like that was so cool. It was just such like a unique part of just like the whole game experience, you know.
So you don't appreciate digital downloads?
Well, I do, and I think that there's a lot of strengths to it, but I think that one day we're gonna find that, and you can say this about music too. You know, like my teacher from college, he used to say, he's like, I miss the liner notes on that. On vinyls, or you know, like when you would buy a CD, that little pamphlet that had all the lyrics and everything else.
And that is so old that when we're distributing music, I'm talking like when I started making music, like this is early 2000s, they were already saying that liner notes are just like something you put digitally that's not even included, so you don't even see it. So I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? It was already being phased out a long time ago.
And the thing is that, like, I mean, even if the liner notes exist, it's just too much trouble to go out and try to find them. Like, you know, I mean, not that it's hard to, you know, you can find anything on the internet, but it's just cool when you open a case and you have the CD there, you pop it into play and it's like, oh, all this information's right here.
Dude, yeah, I remember putting so much effort into the booklet, being like, here's like 20 photos are exclusive that you'll never see anywhere else or something, you know? What is the point of that now?
Yeah, and I think there's, what I was alluding to a second ago was, I think there's going to be a time where people will start to appreciate that more enough, like on a large scale, for that to become a normal thing again. Because right now, you know, the digital age is just like, it's based on convenience and being able to have things available to you in an instant. And so there's kind of like not room for that right now. And, you know,
I would argue that's the downfall of our society.
Oh, well, I mean, that reminds me of something that I when you brought up um, Nickelback and Spider-Man earlier. I was talking to somebody earlier because I went to go watch. I watched two really great movies in the theater recently.
Which
I
ones?
watched Godzilla -1 in black and
Really?
white. It was great.
What?
Yes, Godzilla -1 in black and white. Just go. You just gotta watch it on the big screen. And actually, I don't think you can anymore. I think I already had it last.
They've just made so many. I did not have interest in this one, but that's interesting.
Well, it's separate from like the Godzilla versus Kong and the one that had the other one that's had Millie Bobby Brown.
They show him as a baby now in his hometown,
oh man,
or he's in the ghetto.
No, it is kind of like an origin story in kind of a way. But and I also saw Dune 2.
I just saw it today, dude. I literally just saw it.
Golly, that's such a great big screen experience.
I hate to say this, dude, but I was half asleep until he got to the arena.
Oh,
and then I was sucked in.
I mean, that's a captivating scene.
Yeah, but then I was sucked in. I was just like, this is so slow until he got to that point.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you had a lot of film left after that point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But what I was gonna say though, and I feel like so oftentimes these days you're like, oh, it's because because of COVID and COVID this and COVID that, and maybe I can't deny COVID's impact on what I'm about to say. But do you remember the hype of Thursday night midnight showings?
Oh yeah. They had red rope just to get through. Yeah, they had lines and lines. Yeah.
How many days and for how many weekends the theaters were packed for Spider-Man?
Oh, that was nuts. Yeah, people would show up hours early just to get a good seat.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen anymore, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because now people go on discount days to a half full theater to make maybe $100 per showing. That's insane.
And I don't know. I also I told a friend of mine that, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think in our lifetime, yours and mine, we're gonna see movie theaters go obsolete.
Damn. Or I think repurposed, perhaps.
I mean, they knocked down the Dollar Theater in Harlingen.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Entertainment.
That's an anecdotal example.
For sure, but I'm just saying entertainment is such a big... So check this out. This is actually a good segue. I interviewed a woman today from Bulgaria who has a doctorate in music, and I specifically asked her this question. Was we got into like the history aspect of orchestras, right? And the importance of them and where they come from and the cultural aspect of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was really curious. I want your opinion. Like, what are the implications of societies not having money for funding like things like that? Like whenever there isn't musicians in art, because I was like, is it all about identity? Is that what we lose by not having great musicians funded in the arts and the public and entertainment like that, actually cherishing musicians? Like, what is the cultural significance or impact?
Some of this might be playing devil's advocate a little bit, but I do think that community of music making has already demonstrated that they're willing to make those kinds of ensembles and performances happen for free.
Damn.
Community orchestras, community wind ensembles, and of course there's going to be a quality change, because you're not hiring the best musicians to do something, and community ensembles also, they just fulfill a different need. It's like if someone wants to play in an ensemble that normally would not have an opportunity to do that because they aren't a professional, or because they just simply want to do that for the joy of the activity. Those kinds of things are there. Now, as far as professional ensembles go, I feel like it's still around, and I don't know. the individual that you just mentioned, you said Bulgaria.
That's where she was born and raised and moved to America.
Yeah, I mean, professional orchestras, not that they're super common, but, you know, they exist. You know, there's one based in Corpus Christi. The Colorado Symphony Orchestra is down the road here from Greeley.
Do you think that they can be, like, we're talking about the best musicians in the world now. Like, is there ways that they could be utilizing their, like, collective unity even better? Do you feel a divide ever?
A divide? Could you elaborate on that?
Maybe not divide, but like, do you ever notice, like, where you're like, man, we could be collaborating or making a bigger impact, especially if we're already doing this for free or something? Like, maybe
I see.
Maybe you're not maximizing something.
That, I mean, maybe on an individual basis, but I think you'll find that oftentimes people that hold those kinds of seats are often doing more than just that. For example, shout out to Eden Garza, who is a friend of mine from undergrad and graduate school at Kingsville. He's a bass trombone player who I got to play with in multiple ensembles, and I think it's 2 years ago now he got selected to be the bass trombone player for the Seattle Symphony, and that is like one of the, I mean, and that's a very, very high level orchestra, and there's only one bass trombone player in an orchestra. So if you have aspirations of being a professional bass bone player, you have, as many orchestras there are, that's how many bass bone spots there are to fill. And chances are that the person that is in that seat, like, for example, like Eden, he's, I think, 3-4 years younger than I am. He's so 27, let's say. He can hold on to that seat till he retires, because that's about as good as it gets. For the next step up for him would be like New York Philharmonic, or some really crazy. And some people look at Seattle Symphony like that, like that's the final step. And so, in terms of making it, he's made it. Where I was going with this is that Eden also has sort of a reputation of being an educator as well. So he travels around and gives master classes at universities, and does guest artist opportunities at schools. So he is collaborating with not only in the professional sphere, but also going and playing with high school students around the country. And he's not doing it for free, but I think that based on the experiences that I had when I was in school, whenever we would have a guest artist of that caliber come by, that's an unforgettable experience. And so he's doing that.
Here's a good segue. I'm curious, like, in your life and in general, when it comes to like seeing performances, is there like a standard of where you're just completely impressed, and do you still get that like where you're shocked all the time because you're around this kind of talent?
Oh man, I mean, yes. I mean, I do feel like I'm constantly exposed to that sort of thing, and that was actually kind of one of the main reasons why I chose the institution that I'm currently attending, is because it provides those kinds of opportunities for their students. And not only that, but the faculty here and the students here are just world class. I mean, there's a couple of individuals that I can think of. I mean, not even more than a couple of individuals that I can think of that are students, colleagues of mine that I see and play with on a regular basis here that just blow me away because they're incredible.
Damn. Do you tell them? Are you just shocked? What do you do when someone blows?
It's funny. It's funny because I'll tell this story. This is, and I've told him this story too. It's this guy named Gavin Allen Dunn. He's a pianist. He's in his early 20s and is currently doing his doctorate. He's in the second year of his doctorate in jazz piano.
Jeez.
And yeah, and man, this guy is a phenom. And it's funny because when I first got here, and when I say I first got here, I mean quite literally the first week that I was here in Colorado. All the new students that are graduate assistants get together and they do like prep work for the school year. And it's funny, I met Gavin as he was telling a group of people this funny story. The story is not important, but he just kind of had like this really like funny, like loosey goosey delivery when he was telling this story, and you can't help but laugh whenever he laughs as he's telling the story, right? And I just kind of had like this, it's like, man, this guy's funny, And fast forward a week later, it's in the first week of school, and the graduate assistants are listening to all the jazz auditions that are how they're going to be placed in ensembles for the duration of the school year. And this is a blind audition, so we're listening to all the piano players play their music, which includes a prepared piece, sight reading, some improvisation, like just a kind of a scope of what they're playing. And for the prepared piece, you got to choose from an array of pieces, so there was like some easier ones that maybe you would expect some undergrads to perform, and then there's the really advanced pieces that are extremely challenging, and like where it's like letter so and so is next, and so someone's there getting ready to play, and man, they just, I thought I was listening to some professional, like just some ridiculously talented individual. And I quite literally like turned after they played their thing, I turned to the person next to me as, who was that?
That's dope. That's dope. That's how everything travels. That's how the best music travels.
And someone was like, that had to be Gavin, and I was like, in my head I was thinking, the guy that was telling the story. I was like, and I told him.
What does that mean to you, though? But yeah, go on. What does that mean, though?
I mean, who's to say like what an assuming means in a when you're talking about music, right? But it's just like, the tune that he played is this tune called Moment's Notice, and it's just like this extremely complex harmony, and you're improvising over that, and it's just ridiculously hard, and he's just playing like these face melting ideas over, at super fast tempo, and it was just kind of mind blowing to know that, like, like this person's a student here, and he's playing. This guy's a pro, he's playing with professionals in the area all the time, and when he graduates from here, he's gonna have the world at the tip of his fingers, because he's just super talented. He's also a super nice guy, and I play in jazz band with him, and it's just always fun to know that it's like, oh, there's a piano solo, it's gonna be great.
So that's perfect, because I really wanted to ask, like, I was trying to ask Alexandra this same question. That was the Bulgarian woman, basically about if there's any like specific people, time periods that can't be replicated type of music that you still reference right now to these professionals that you're talking about, and you're like, dude, that's on another level, because they had nothing else to do, I'm guessing, or like they took it really, really serious on another level.
I don't know about necessarily unreplicatable music, because I feel like, especially scholarly institutions and just professionals of all types. It doesn't even have to be affiliated with the school. We have the resources to recreate.
Here's a better question. Here's a better question then. Is there anybody that you feel like historically a person that could like really still outdo modern composers?
Oh, huh. Yeah, I mean, you can play devil's advocate with this a lot too. A person that I like to think this kind of question gets asked a lot about jazz performers. Like people that were taken very young. That died very young, or people that left a great impression on the art form. Like I think of like Clifford Brown, who was a jazz trumpet player who died in his mid-20s, and his contributions to jazz trumpet are tremendous. And it's like we're talking about I think his recording career was less than 5 years. And there's a jazz saxophonist named Michael Brecker who had a substantial career, a very lengthy career, but he was taken in his 50s from cancer. And there are some things that people will argue and say, like, there's things that he was able to do on the saxophone just technically and ability wise that no one can do right now. So far it has been no one has been able to replicate the things that he can do exactly like the way he did. And when you talk about jazz, especially, it's just this constantly evolving thing, like all music. And you hear people doing things, I think, constantly that you couldn't imagine, and I think that's a really exciting part of the music.
I guess I'm thinking now, like, was there any composers that you were influenced by, like, heavily? I'm trying to go historic, like, go back where you're, like, impressed and you're getting interested in music.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's funny because it's like now you asked me what my background was earlier, and we segued around it. And now here we are. So when we were in middle school band, I knew then that I wanted to do high school band because I was having fun in band.
Was it the teachers necessarily?
I mean, that was definitely a part of it. I shout out to all those teachers.
Yeah, Ladio was there forever.
Oh yeah, he's still there.
Damn,
yeah,
that's tight.
Miss Monosmith, Mr. DeSantis, Miss Philippus. They were great teachers, and I mean, there was also a point where really early in my grade school band experience where I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Music to some degree, and by the time I was finishing high school, that meant being a band director. By the time I was finishing my first degree, that I was feeling like I wanted to be more on the performance side of things. So when I continued school to grad school, I still felt that way about performing, and ended up kind of having the best sort of opportunity that I could, where I was teaching at college, which allowed me to be in a performance space pretty regularly. And
your parents also took it pretty serious too, though. It's a pretty big deal.
Like you mean like supportive wise? Yeah. I couldn't. I would not be where I am today without them. I mean, they've just been immensely supportive. They've very rarely have told me no to things. And
pretty tight,
especially in my adult life. It's like when I told them, like, I'm they think I need to move to Greeley, Colorado. They just they knew it was going to be tough, but they agreed and they went along with it.
Damn.
Yeah. And well, so to answer your question, when I was in when I really started to really hone in on jazz music, the a person that really inspired me is a guy named Kenny Garrett, who's still alive. People call him the most influential jazz alto saxophone player, the most influential jazz alto saxophone player since Charlie Parker. Charlie Parker being like one of the people that is considered to be one of the fathers of modern jazz. And so since him, Kenny Garrett has been listed as one of the most influential, and he kind of has a really unique style of playing. When you hear him play, he just has such a distinct voice in his instrument. It's like he doesn't sound like a stock alto saxophone.
Does that have to do with the air that you're pushing? Is that really what it is? Like how much air, the intensity? Is that what you get your voice quote?
Yeah, I mean it's the intensity and the direction of the air, but it is also quite literally your voice.
Interesting.
Yeah, there is an aspect of playing a wind instrument that's called voicing, and it has to do with how much of basically this part of your oral cavity is being involved when you're playing. And
I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool, and it sounds like it too, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that it's not something that you really tap into until you've spent a lot of time on the instrument, because no one was talking to that. When I was in 8th grade, no one was talking about that. That wasn't really.
Now that you're skilled, you play around kind of thing, right?
Right. That wasn't a concept that was introduced to me until I was probably a junior in college. A junior in high school.
Damn.
Okay. And then expanded upon, and since then, and every once in a while, I'll get a tip from someone that'll help me improve that part of my playing, and it's the same way that singers, any singer that you can think of, any musician that you can think of, we're all different shapes and sizes, and we all have different lungs, and so people are just are capable of making very specific sounds because of who they are, and some people make it their quest to sound like other people.
Damn.
It's a lengthy process.
That's one of the things that I was kind of curious, because you're talking about being distinct, their style, and I'm like, dude, people don't really think about that. They just hear the instrument. If you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to a band, nobody's over here like, dude, that guy's distinctly known for this, until obviously you've been trained to recognize what a talented drummer or musician is, for example.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that brings up a whole nother, that I feel like that awareness plays a big role in just music appreciation, and it also has to just do with kind of it has to do with quality control.
Does it have to do with what you were making people do also? Do you become a legend just because you were getting the crowd going suddenly? Now now people study your style, and now you're an icon?
No, I think there's probably some examples of that, perhaps. But
oversimplified it, obviously.
But there's also just kind of there's a lot of being at the right place at the right time, and being prepared for it, I'm on the record right now, so it's I hope I don't get this wrong, but Kenny Garrett grew up playing saxophone at a really early age, and was introduced into the jazz scene at a very early age. And one of his big breaks was when he started playing with Miles Davis. And Miles Davis, at that time, because we're talking about a saxophone player who's still alive.
Mhm.
Miles Davis was playing bebop with Charlie Parker in the 40s.
Damn.
And so for you to be around to play with like Miles Davis, this was when Miles Davis was doing sort of like his jazz rock fusion stuff. And Kenny Garrett must have, at some point impressed Miles that to a point where he said like, "Hey, I want you to come on the road with me and play in my groups." And that's where I think Kenny really exploded and then eventually became his own thing, and that's a lot of times how it goes down, and since then, Kenny has probably had sidemen that have become their own thing because they were sidemen of Kenny Garrett.
Did he know though? Like, did he know at the time that he's playing with greatness?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, Miles at that point had already had a legendary career. He's played with. I mean, he's made some of the most important music in American history, even at that point. And so I think Kenny probably, he knew the importance of playing with Miles. I mean, he was now, granted, he was playing a very different. He was at a very different point in his career, Miles, at the time that Kenny joined him. But yeah, without a doubt, they knew.
Do you have any favorite performances that not only you've been a part of, but actual concerts also, like, that you paid for? Like, not just performing yourself, like, that you've been to.
Yeah. So I saw Kenny Garrett live.
Again, bro, do you have a T-shirt and a poster also?
It's not that kind of thing, dude. I mean, it's so. So Kenny is, I think he might be 58, 59 years old. Or
he's
was that?
He's the homie, it sounds like.
I mean, we're talking about some, like, people refer, well, I mean, he's just like one of the greatest jazz saxophone players alive right now. And I haven't been living in this apartment very long, but back in my old spot where I have this setup, where I do my work and stuff, I used to have these. I would have portraits of the musicians that have inspired me the most in my life, and there was, at the time when I was living in my last spot, there were 6 people, and Kenny was one of them. And Kenny, when I found out that he was coming to San Antonio, I bought tickets for both nights. And
Damn.
He came with his quintet, which means like sometimes when musicians travel for convenience and for the sake of being able to accomplish these performances, they'll hire musicians that are local,
Damn.
But he had his group that traveling with him, and I watched a 2-hour set, and a lot of I've been to shows where it's like introducing so and so, and the person comes on, and the guy's like, "How's everyone doing tonight?" and they get the crowd going. They play some tunes, and they're like, tell a joke between a tune or something like that, and the music's great, and they're like, all right, for our last tune, and everyone's aww, and then they play their last tune, and then they walk off the stage, and they come back and do an encore, like that kind of thing. Okay, so Kenny Garrett Quintet, I saw him in at Jazz Texas in San Antonio. It's at the Pearl, and it's this underground venue, very intimate. The furthest seat is close to the stage, and so I'm literally feet from Kenny, which is exactly where I wanted to be. And the owner of the venue, Doc Watkins comes out and he said, "We have a very special performance for you all tonight. Please welcome the Kenny Garrett Quintet." And they come on, and they just immediately just like dive into the music, like no words. Every time someone soloed, it wasn't like that was so and so on the drums. It was like he would just point at that person, cueing an applause from the audience, and
Damn.
not a single word was spoken the whole set.
Wow.
And it's like the set finished, and they walked off, and that was it. Damn. And that is, I think, that is a characteristic of bebop, where it's like the music started becoming less of a showbiz sort of thing, and it became about the music. And for me, that's what it was. It was, we just listened to a heavy music set, and from rip roaring fast tempos to the extremely like aggressive in your face Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilian style that he's known for, to their arrangement of a super soft, poignant ballad, that is just like so delicate, and then they played some of his mid 2000s sort of like pop style stuff, pop funk style things. So just like a huge array of music it's all original. Oh, with some exceptions. That ballad I told you about was not written by him, but the performance of it was original. And so yeah, man, that night and the next night, I mean, that's like one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had.
And equally as good, like one wasn't better than the other.
I think the first night was a little bit better. And I actually have a story that goes with this because oftentimes when guys like this come through, they're not hard to get to. It's like if Kendrick came and did a show in San Antonio, there's no way you're going to talk to him.
Yeah.
Right. But if in a small venue like this, chances are that you can talk to Kenny if you want. And after the first night, I was blown away, like I said, and almost immediately there was like a line forming in the back of the venue to talk to him, because where he was in the room that he was like using as his dressing room. And I thought, man, I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to just hit it and I'll try to talk to him. I'll get in line early tomorrow. And I felt like I saw him kind of frustrated on the second night. This is just me. I don't know if this is true, but he picked up a soprano saxophone at the end of the set on the second night, and he played it for such a small amount of time that it made me feel like maybe he didn't like the way he was sounding, even though he sounded amazing. And this is, and I'm backing this up with some insider info so I bought tickets for 2 nights. He did 2 sets on each night. The tickets that I had were for the last set of each night. And what I was told was that between sets, like before sets and between them, he was right by the Pearl, like where he was staying in his hotel. He was going to his hotel to practice. Like, what? We're talking about like a master of the craft of one of the all-time greats.
It's like reciting your lyrics. So I don't think it's any different,
Well, I mean, it's just I played a concert yesterday.
I'm surprised that surprises you.
Well, the thing is that I played a show last night, right? And in the backstage time, I wasn't practicing. Like, I was just kind of waiting for my turn. And maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Yeah. But it just seemed like really humbling that here we are, like, this is Kenny Garrett, and
it's how you maintain your spot, bro.
Well, I suppose you're right. Maybe it's that
He's still grinding, dude.
for sure. Yeah, and
dude, that's like that's crazy. Maybe you haven't had anxiety. Maybe he's just like, yo, this is a big gig. You know what I mean? And he just treats everything like, yo, this is a big gig.
Maybe, you know, that's a good. I like that. I like that take on that. What I thought was, you know, he didn't feel like the soprano sax was going that well, and he cut the set a little bit early and then went to go practice. That was like
you're looking around. You're like, I was here for the. Do y'all know? Never mind.
and the part of that story is I didn't get to catch him afterwards because he just jet super fast after that set. But there's this really cool thing that happened on that second night because I was sitting on a different seat and in that venue,
he threw his sweat towel at you.
No, even better. So where I was sitting on the second night was still pretty close to the stage, but I was kind of like in the corner right by the walkway that the musicians would use to go from backstage to the stage. And as the same gentleman that was introducing him on the first night was introducing him again, they were already rolling out. And I was kind of doing this thing like, yeah, right? Like as these guys were walking by me. And for some reason, man, Kenny, he like put his hand on my shoulder and he went, "I'm glad you're here," and then just continued on to the stage. So it's like he didn't say anything like on the mic to any like about anything, you know. But on the way to the stage, he told me, "I'm glad you're here."
Damn.
And so
damn.
So since then, I actually wrote it.
That was the second night.
Yeah, second night. So I didn't get to meet him or talk to him, but he did tell me that. And I wrote a tune a couple years ago now, or a year ago now,
called "I'm Glad You're Here."
I'm glad you're here. It's a tribute to Kenny Garrett.
But okay, so did you take it as a bigger metaphor? What did it actually mean to you?
I mean, I just feel like maybe he saw my excitement.
Of course. You know? But what does it mean to you though? Like, forget him just trying to hype you up. There's a bigger picture there.
I mean, I just feel like, you know, how many people of that caliber would even consider doing that?
Dude, I think this goes back to collaboration, bro. Like, you hype somebody up. That's how you made him feel. Well,
I hope so. And
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, and in turn, I mean, he doesn't know the impression that left on me. And, you know, for me, that's literally the person I have on my wall. You know, it's like one of my absolute music heroes.
Damn.
You know, took a moment to do that, and that every time I tell the story, it just kind of like reminds me and makes me appreciate that memory. I'll never forget that.
Bro, you know what's funny is I'm the biggest fan of Ace Hood and Money Man, and when I met both of them, I was so much more nervous to meet Ace Hood because I was so excited. I was like, because I gave him a package. I had like a whole package of like, I gave him music and a painting, and like I just went ham.
Oh wow!
Yeah, crystals, like everything. Yeah, Palo Santo. I don't know, dude. It's interesting. Like photos, just the memory of it and stuff. And then I took myself way too serious. I was like so excited to take that photo.
I mean, when you're in the moment, man, it's like
I know.
Yeah,
I know. It's pretty funny. But yeah, let's go back. Let's go childhood now.
Okay.
Shoot. Do you remember how ridiculous it was for me to enter so many talent shows?
Oh man. I mean, shoot. So I remember you doing the ones in high school where that's when you were already doing the dance thing, right? But it goes as far back as elementary school. Dancing to NSYNC, was it?
Dude, yeah. The funniest shit was signing autographs as a little kid. Like people would bring me spirals or cut out pieces of paper, and I was just writing Joseph Reyna. I don't know how tiny I was, But I was so confused. I didn't know why anyone wanted that. That I was cutting sheets of paper out and writing them and then just handing them out.
That's funny.
I was so tiny. It's embarrassing to think about it now. Yeah, it's super embarrassing.
Nah, man, that's how it gets started.
I was just like, everyone keeps asking, let me make it convenient for them. Super ridiculous. I don't want to take the time to write it.
What was the one that first happened? Which talent show did that first happen in?
That was definitely Bye Bye Bye.
Bye Bye Bye. What year would that have been? What grade?
That was second grade, and I did the split in
second grade.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, people would go off on those talent shows, man. They would.
It was packed.
Yeah. Golly, man. I wonder if that stuff is still happening there.
I really just wonder how that influenced me, because when I turned 15, I don't know if you remember like Rio Fest. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
So like that was like my first show, right? That was, I don't know how young I was. I had to be 15. But I was like 300-400 people all around me. Like I was taking people from the main stage because I was using autotune. People were tripping. They'd never seen like autotune live. And I had a whole band behind me, remember? So yeah, that was just like the first time that I'd had that happen, and never really happened like that again. Like that many people. For me anyway, yeah. That's interesting.
What is that? Where the party at?
Oh my god, it's embarrassing.
Is that what that was though?
Yeah, that's just.
I mean, dude, that's how it goes.
Gosh.
How it goes, man.
Everything's cringe now, right?
Nah. It's just
it's just how it feels though. It's just like, I interview authors and they don't even want to talk about their early books. It's like cringe. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's natural to feel that way about, art. your stuff. Yeah. I have a hard time just going back and listening to recordings in general. At least if it involves me playing my instrument. Like I do appreciate like the times that I've conducted ensembles and stuff like that. Like I can go and listen to that kind of thing. But yeah, and early on too, hearing myself like in high school, it's like, oh god, like please kill me now.
Dude, I got clowned a lot for autotune. It's crazy. Like I still wish that I didn't give up just because of that, you know what I mean? Like I took so many long breaks because I was like, oh, autotune's gonna die out. Thinking that I needed to work on my actual voice and sing, you know what I mean? I went to school for that, taking vocal classic lessons, and just to have it stay around and become the music industry standard is hilarious.
Man, yeah, I mean, who could have predicted that?
Not Jay-Z, apparently. Death of autotune. So dumb.
Oh, I mean now it's like it's just taking on so many different forms. It's become
Do you argue the modern composer is kind of dead because anybody can just be a composer and call themselves that? Like you don't have to read music at this point. People just label themselves.
I don't think I subscribe to that. Because I think there's different levels of composition in different different spaces, different genres. Not to make this about my experience alone, but the school I'm at right now has a internationally renowned jazz composition program, and a lot of the music that the groups here at the school perform are written by the students that are attending here, and that's a pretty big deal. And the caliber of compositions that are happening on a regular basis is extreme, and the amount of training that is required to make that happen at a high level is extremely significant. And even if you come here with a lot of experience, the composition faculty here is also just like so brilliant that they're going to even elevate that. So it goes much farther than you think it would. And I do think that there's like technology has made it easier for people to compose music. And I think that's a good thing. But I do think that it's important for people to be aware of what they're listening to, though.
Speaking of most influential composers, so I know you've been the biggest fan of him your whole life, R. Kelly. So what's your opinion on P. Diddy? I know you're hurt. Your boy.
P. Diddy? You're talking about the stuff that's going on in the news right now?
Flea Diddy, yeah.
Oh, man. Honestly, I don't know all about what's going on, and I saw that his houses got raided. I also saw that there was a former Syracuse basketball player that was like acting as a mule for him. That's crazy.
He got on a jet, went to another country. He left.
Who, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Where'd he go?
It's Cape Verde or something. He stopped to get fuel, I'd assume, but I don't know if he jumped on a boat after that. I don't know. I would assume they would intercept him somehow. It's kind of ridiculous.
Like he's on the run right now? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was asking.
Oh man.
The whole Bad Boy Empire. That's like a whole era of music, bro.
Yikes. I don't know.
The changing of the guard. Yeah, no, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I feel like a lot of bad energy is leaving the industry, and I hope it is, I hope that's actually changing.
Well, it's kind of happening everywhere, man. Like the Dan Schneider thing.
We don't talk about that. Amanda's show is great.
Well, that's a whole other thing too, right? It's just like
you were a big Amanda Bynes fan. Go ahead.
a lot of times, we especially like let me give you in the classical spectrum an example of this. There is a romantic era composer named Richard Wagner, who is one of the most influential composers in the history of Western music.
Here comes the controversy. Here it is.
Yeah, but
what is it?
He was a super hardcore Nazi supporter. Like he was just like a hardcore anti-Semite, and his music was actually used as thematic material for the Third Reich, and it's hard for you to it's hard to consider the evolution of Western music without his contributions. Like it's like if you were to erase his contributions and the people that he influenced that have had also enormous contributions that would not have had their careers without him or without his influence, there's just literally a huge gap in Western music history.
Damn, so you're justifying Schneider. I get it.
I'm not. But I'm not. But I'm saying that there's like this. There's the concept of separating the individual from the art form is a conversation.
Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, P. Diddy.
I mean, yeah.
But here's where I actually feel like I have the answer to that.
How many people like that are our parents' age don't give a crap about Michael Jackson and the things that
but that here's my argument is because if you're talented enough, your wrongdoings, your legacy can outlive them. That's basically it. Think about Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Think about Michael Jackson. Who else?
About Dan Schneider?
Who else is beating people up and still talented? Think about who's shaking his leg. What's his name?
Soldier?
Nah, actually, why can't I remember his name right now? Oh my gosh, it's gonna come to me. Oh my god, is it Rick James? Am I thinking about Rick James?
Man, it's all over the music industry, man. It's all over.
Yeah, but that's a good ass example on talent superseding your own
domestic violence within the music industry is.
So the lesson here is don't beat people up unless you're super talented, right? So, dude, no, go for it. What?
Before you take the swing, it's like, can I afford this?
You start playing your instrument just to make sure you still got it.
That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
That is pretty bad. You're like, I still got it, and I'm gonna use it as a weapon. Anyways, did we ever get in trouble as kids? Do you remember?
In trouble?
Playing too much RuneScape?
You know, I don't know if we ever got in trouble. Yeah, I mean, I do think of the story I like to tell is the when you and I would, whenever I would go spend the night at your place, and we would go out the side door to make a run to the convenience store, you know, or to Pizza Hut.
Super long walks for no reason, dude.
But hey, man, that was fun.
Yeah, for sure. But man, shouldn't have been doing that though.
No, we should have. There was that time where you and I, it's like, yeah, we got out the side door, and as we were scurrying out of your driveway, some other cats were walking in, and I think they were just as stunned as you and I were, and we were kind of both like, what's up? And then just went our separate ways. And, you know, I think we went a different direction than we normally did to avoid them. And we saw a car running with no one in it. You know, the doors open. And he was like, oh man, this ain't good. And
it's a shitty story.
And then when we were on that long stretch, I can't remember the name of the road, but because you lived on Ella, right?
Yeah.
And then there was the long stretch, which would have been.
Was that Grimes?
Grimes is the one that's in the same east and west, like Ella. But the north-south one must have been like 23rd or something like that.
Yeah.
That takes you all the way down to Bonham.
Yep.
It was on that stretch where we heard the car revving towards us, and they threw eggs. And
I know that was gonna be way worse though.
Yeah. It could have been, man.
Yeah.
If those people were motivated, or differently motivated, they could have done worse things to us.
Trust me, dude. I woke up many times to clean egg off my house. Many times.
Man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How did I not know that?
Dude, my mom would wake me up so many times. Like, there's more egg on there, and I'll be out there, like, super early, just scrubbing shit.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I remember that happened that night, like, over that particular night that I'm talking about right now.
Hell yeah. And then, dude, there was times I would even catch people that were pranking me anyway.
Who was it?
Like, a DJ that we used to be friends with. I remember he would put fireworks in front of my yard.
Oh,
I remember that one. And then I would call him and be like, "Yo, were you?" He's like, "Nah." He would act like he was asleep.
Well,
I'm just like, I have plenty of these experiences of being traumatized, of just living in Harlingen. That's crazy.
Man,
I know, dude. Trust me, I think about it all the time. I'm like, damn, I did not appreciate that time. All that Mexican food. I'm serious. That's like the best part of the valley.
I mean, I miss it, man.
mutual.
Yeah, it were good times though, man.
Yeah, we were outside all the time, dude. We were always playing sports.
That's something that I feel like is definitely missing nowadays. And I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, but it does, just like the limit of like experiences that you have whenever you're cooped up inside all the time. I mean, it's like if I had, I mean, we're adults now, and I have the ability to create this awesome video game experience that I have in front of me now. And it's like, if I had this available to me when I was that age, I would have loved it, right? But I would have also been still going outside and playing with my friends.
Yeah, our parents were kind of adamant about it too, right? They're like, yo, okay, but can you go outside too?
I also think that for a long time, we had a killer cohort of people that especially on my block.
Oh yeah,
David and Ryan and Jacinda.
Bro, street football is another level though.
Yeah, man. The basketball too.
Oh yeah,
basketball a lot with those guys. Yeah.
Damn. Sports. Camaraderie. Yeah, I actually argue that that's super important, actually. I think that's what you're getting at, is the competitive aspect of just challenging friends, right? Like, it doesn't have to be that serious, but doing shit that's competitive where you're like, oh, I'm good at something. A lot of people don't know that they're good at things, because they don't get out, they don't experience anymore, like you're saying.
Yeah, and maybe they're experiencing it on, I don't know,
video
Fortnite
games
or something.
Yeah.
which is fun too. I mean,
Hell yeah.
There was an era of my life where competitive Halo was the thing,
Oh yeah, but we were told that this couldn't make money. You know what I mean? Like, we were that era right before MLG. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were. Well, yeah. It was the right before. Some people were able to get on it that were our age, if they got into it early enough, and like, our buddy Travis has a super neat resume for video games.
That's so strange to hear.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was always fun, playing 21, out on the street, and then it's like someone's big brother comes out, or someone's dad comes out. It's like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Dude, that's always fun when you throw in one adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good ass point. It makes it all hard all of a sudden for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever met this person, but there was right next door to me was where Jacinda, the Balboas lived, and then in front of them there was another family that moved in later. His name was Nathan. Was the older, or the brother that I met first. He had a little brother named Jacob and an older brother named Nick that all lived there in the house. That we would always play outside, and Nick was, I think, in his early 20s when we were in middle school, and yeah, he would come out and play basketball with us. It was always a good time. And I also remember this one time there was a gentleman who I believe was a pastor that would visit them every now and then, a friend of the family, and I remember we were all playing 21, and this would have been like me, David, Nathan, like a lot of the guys that we like to play ball with. And this guy came out and he was like wearing, like slacks, some nice brown leather shoes, shirt tucked in. And man, that guy knew how to ball, man.
It's so dumb.
It's just like, how, like,
it doesn't matter what you're wearing.
Like, not that's one thing, right? That's one thing. But it's like when your body language, is a certain way, it's like, someone's really knows how to ball in the when their body language is just very fluent, and they had a sick jumper for no reason. Yeah, and he was so good, man. And he also just had he had a few tricks up his sleeves too that made it a little extra entertaining.
You're like, shout out to this guy. I don't remember
his name, man. I wish I did, but
talk a little bit about RuneScape. How big of an influence, bro? Because we spent a lot of time on that. Like, we talked a lot on the internet.
I mean, I still play it every now and then, man.
Big ass combat update that just happened.
Yeah, the thing is that I haven't played that version of the game in a long time. I play the old school. It's OSRS.
Oh my god.
Which is more populated than RS3.
What?
Yeah. People play old school more than RS3.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is that they have continued old school on that platform. Like they've evolved the game with that feel.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like what changed the game was like the combat evolved thing. No, that's Halo. There's another thing, I forget the term, but it's when basically when they revamped the whole combat system.
It's like a phrase, yeah.
And that's kind of like what killed the community for a little bit, and then when OSRS came out and then they made it available on mobile phones, that changed everything, I think, again. But
super niche, dude. Like Desert Wars and the Castle Wars. When you started being able to build houses and get into hunting and summoning, I'm like, yo, this is nuts. The houses part, I was so excited, dude.
Well, I mean,
farming
for me, it was like, because you introduced me to the game, and for me, it was like I played that before I ever played like Xbox Live or anything of that nature. Like I didn't even play Toontown or anything like that.
Oh, I barely did.
So that was like my first multiplayer
MMO
kind of experience, and not only was it a multiplayer experience, but it was an MMO. So like the whole concept of like, I remember going home to my parents and saying like, yeah, Joseph plays this game. It's like, like you could be chatting with someone from another country, and it's like at that point I was like, man, like my parents were so skeptical about it. Like they didn't. It was like, what, other country? You're not doing that.
For sure.
So for a long time I was playing that game with the chat off. When my parents,
you don't see anything.
And when my parents were like gone, like I would like turn it on, and I felt like I was getting away with something.
All you're doing is reading words.
Yeah, dude.
That's so funny. Dumb. It's funny, so dude.
Dumb. Oh, man.
But it's totally justified, honestly, because we're exposed to so much.
Yeah,
people are just dumb.
But there was just like so much like lore with the game. It's like from like all the the world building that the quests did. There was that, but then there was also like Zezima, like the number one player in the world. Like, who is that?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But you're right. The fact that you fanboy over like a virtual player that's like the best at a video game is like, what?
Well, dude,
he had followers. He had a cult following in the video game.
There's documentaries of this stuff. I really.
He's like barely showing his lips.
Well, I mean, I know which one you're talking about. He had like it sounds like he needs to drink a glass of water on that interview. But like, there's also just
so
like
funny.
People be making high quality videos about everything these days, right?
So true,
dude. Do yourself a favor. And watch the documentary about The Falador Massacre.
Oh my god! I remember. That's so good. I haven't seen the documentary, but I remember the massacre.
Dude, the documentary will tell you so much more than you ever thought you could know about it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like there's almost like even like insider like conspiracy shit about it too, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, this is
Like,
so niche.
yeah,
My followers are not going to understand why this is so funny.
It is like it's like on a jet fuel can't melt steel beams kind of level, you know. It's like
9/11 reference. If anyone didn't get it. Yo, what kind of conspiracies did people think we were crazy as a kid that are now true?
You know, it's a crazy one. Without it getting super graphic, but we were all some colleagues of mine here just recently were thinking like, how in the world did the rumor about Marilyn Manson removing one of his ribs, like, how did that?
No, wasn't it a bat, or am I talking about somebody else?
No. That's Ozzy Osbourne.
Osbourne,
the head of a bat, but Marilyn Manson allegedly removed ribs so that way he could perform certain things on himself.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Totally forgot.
And somehow that's like a rumor that everyone has heard, you know.
You think that's crazy, but sometimes I wonder how Jeffree Star is still relevant.
Jeffree Star?
You don't remember that from MySpace days?
I didn't have MySpace, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on that too early. I remember playing Halo and having a MySpace. I must have been like 13, like too young. Shouldn't have been on it.
If it was up to me, I would have had one. But it was, you know, I just
you didn't have a top 8?
Couldn't have one.
Damn.
You know,
Damn.
how much drama did that cause?
Yeah, like, you removed me from your top 8 on your profile.
That's messed up. Especially for middle schoolers, like, what's wrong with them? Like, I know.
There's probably like 2 or 3 people though that I met on there and might still talk to in real life.
Really?
Yeah. Weird. Even video games. Like, I met Scrubs playing GTA. Wait, did you play GTA with me and Valdez? You never did that?
Nah, I didn't start playing GTA Online until GTA 5.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, was that that's the one with the helicopters in the airport?
I'm tripping. I think a lot of them had helicopters.
It's like the one by the water. Never mind. Not a good description at all. That's how you know.
Yeah, it's like they're all in California, right?
And I was obsessed. I was obsessed with that game. I don't even know.
Or Miami. I think they're all by water.
All I know is Cyberpunk's the biggest letdown I've ever played.
Oh, what? I enjoyed that game, man. I enjoyed it. In fact, I'm playing through it again.
Yeah, slowly. I did everything I could also. Like, I did every type of thing, but then I couldn't complete it because of the final bugs and stuff.
When's the last time you played it?
Yeah, you're right. I get it. You're right. Since it first came out. Since it came out, I beat it.
Yeah. I don't think I did everything. I for sure completed like the story, and I did like a lot of side quests for sure. I don't know if like I 100%ed it, but they've added a lot to it too, though. Like there's a lot more content, like a lot of more things for you to do.
Damn.
And so I'm playing it again, and I'm trying to create making decisions that I wouldn't have made the first time around, you know, to just get a different experience.
The cops was a funny bug, dude. Because anytime the cops would come after you, they would just spawn behind you. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's still a wonky game. And you know what? You know who I blame? I blame the community, man.
Whoa.
Because they just like it's like just shut up and wait for the game, man. It's, again, if they hadn't just been a little bit more patient, they would have had a product that
they would have actually put out what they advertised, is what you're saying. Because, dude, when you look at the trailers, like, you were like running on walls and shit. I thought that was insane.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And you play Fallout 4?
I think I saw the gameplay. I just didn't play it.
That to me has like the same level of immersiveness for me. Fallout 4 was like 2015, 2016. And for like when I played Cyberpunk, I was thinking like this is the most immersive game I've played since Fallout 4. So I think if you want that kind of experience, man, Fallout 4 is a great.
I think I'm definitely hating, even though I beat the shit out of Cyberpunk though. Like I'm hating, even though like I did play it a lot for sure. And it wasn't even on the best TV, so you probably had a more immersive experience. Damn.
I mean, I play on small TVs, man. My monitors right now are like 23 inches.
But is it a 4K at least?
This current one, yeah.
See,
yeah. I mean, I did Fallout 4 on a 1080p thing, you know.
Damn.
Actually, you know what? My first playthrough of Cyberpunk would have been on the same one. I had the same monitor from like 2011 through 2021.
You know what's interesting is like Shadowrun was like my favorite game ever. And then you don't realize it until you research and you're like, oh, they made the game mechanics over Halo. It's no wonder it was so easy for me to jump into. But like you don't realize like there's like a framework you're familiar with that's like built into a game that you already like. It's kind of interesting, you know?
Yeah. And that's how a lot of what is it? The engine.
Oh yeah, Unreal.
There you go.
Unreal Engine.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Yeah, it looks insane. You've seen the Matrix preview for the next level up, right?
No.
What? Yeah, they had like a Matrix demo. It must have been a year ago, or it's just like flying through the city.
No, wow, I haven't seen that.
Damn. Interesting. Yeah.
I'd like to see it. It sounds good.
Yeah.
There's so many games out there now.
Super immersive shit. Hold on, let me go to these questions over here. Can you remember a time we tried to cook or make something that went horribly wrong?
Yes, dude. I tell this is funny.
Really?
I tell this story more often than you would think.
What?
Yeah. So, this is all to. Man, maybe I shouldn't tell.
No, go ahead. What the heck?
No, no. I'm telling the food part of it for sure. It's the analogy that I use. I use it for an analogy often.
Wow.
So, what would you rather hear first, the story or the?
I'm just pissed I didn't know.
So, yeah, let's talk about it. I think we're in a safe space.
I can't believe it's this deep.
We can share our opinions.
You're prefacing the shit out of this. This is crazy.
It's because I think this is it's a topic that I think a lot of people would disagree with. And
it's fair.
But I anyway, you know who Jacob Collier is?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's not like super mainstream. He has a few Grammys at this point, I think. He's kind of
I see him.
Is a songwriter.
Yeah. Producer, educator.
Yeah. I hesitate to call him a jazz musician because that's just not all he does. Although some of his background is extremely jazz influenced, and he has done some of his products are just simply they are jazz. But like he has produced instrumentals for SZA and has several albums that are quite I mean I don't know how innovative they are, but they're very, very complex. I'll say, like he'll create a song that has like hundreds of tracks, because of how heavily produced they are, and
Damn.
he's extremely talented, super super talented. Perfect Pitch is a mastermind when it comes to theory. But the thing is that a lot of people have a bone to pick with him, because for some reason it's like the music that he makes, I feel like it struggles to connect with people, and it's objectively impressive. I mean, it's like, the music that he makes is hard. It would be extremely hard to replicate.
Bro, he's part of Interscope, so it's weird that you're saying all this.
Well, and it's just interesting to, especially when you go and hear it, and some people like might not like his voice, like just straight up might not like his voice, and others might just find that his music, like they don't connect to it, like I said. And when I first learned about him, he used to do these videos that were, they would go viral on YouTube because he would do like these crazy acapella voice arrangements of like popular tunes like Pure Imagination and like the Flintstones. I think he won a Grammy for his vocal arrangement of the Flintstones theme song.
All Night Long or something. That's what I saw. He won something for All Night Long.
So All Night. Okay, I'm getting that because he has another song called All I Need that is really popular. Well, anyway, all this to say that a lot of times what I describe his music to be is it's like too much chocolate. It's too rich. So there's like too many good things happening at the same time. So it's like it's almost like some people will say more crude things about it, like it doesn't have any soul, or he.
You know what it makes me think of?
He's such a huge fan of Herbie Hancock, who is a really notable jazz pianist who lived through many eras.
It sounds like it's overly original.
Perhaps. I mean,
like there might not be a song structure.
There is structure to it. It's just that, like, I feel like it's just.
Okay, here's another analogy.
It's really try hard. Is what you hear people say.
Is it like you got to the bridge and it doesn't end?
Maybe, but the thing is that, like, even after the things I say right now, like, like the try hard thing and stuff like that, it's like, you can't blame him for doing that either. It's because he's trying to create a product that, it's a style. It's uniquely him. Well, anyways, this is I was going to tell you all this because I teach a class here at the school I'm at.
Oh yeah.
And
you showed a tweet. Remember that tweet you're supposed to show? Okay, go on.
So I had this. They were talking about Jacob Collier, and one of the students asked, like, why is his music not good? And my answer was, sometimes, and this concept is not even mine. The person that told me this was an old friend of mine named Jonathan, who said that it's like too much chocolate. And so here's the story that I often tell people, that my friend Joseph one time invited me over. I believe what we were going to do was we were going to watch some NBA playoffs. I think it was like San Antonio Lakers, and I remember I'll never forget this. You're like, I'm making cookies and brownies. Too specific. This is part of the story. And so I got to your place, and sure enough, dude, there was cookies and brownies. But there was also chocolate ice cream, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and I don't know, maybe chocolate sprinkles. I don't know. And the thing is that I remember getting there and thinking like, man, I'm gonna load up a bowl of all this and it's gonna be awesome. And so I did all that. It's like I got chocolate ice cream, put on some chocolate syrup, put on some chocolate chips, got like a cookie, or a brownie, and put it on there. And I was like, man, can't wait to sit down and watch Tim Duncan go off, and and I hated
fattest thing I've ever heard. I love it.
And I hated it. It sucked. I had like two spoonfuls. I'm like, man, what am I to do with the rest of this?
Just kept eating
it. That's the whole point. It's like there was all these these things that alone, it's like you put chocolate chips on some vanilla, it's gonna work wonderfully. Or you put chocolate syrup on some strawberry ice cream, it's gonna be awesome. But all of it together, it's just too much chocolate. It's too rich. And so I feel like it's possible to have a musical product that can be consumed like that. I think it's
damn. I wish there was like a better analogy though to talk about like the mind frame that makes that, because try hard is the closest,
I mean, but the thing is that like it comes from such, I don't want this to sound like I hate Jacob Collier or something like that, because I don't. And in fact, I think
it sounds like he's playing just to prove something, like to outperform you instead of to sell you a product.
The thing is that I don't think he's doing that either. I think he's a genuine guy, genuine cat. I just think that, it's hard. It's hard to put a how or a why behind it.
And what about like pre-success? Is he like that after he gets with the label? Like he becomes this? Any thoughts?
I wouldn't say so, because it's like, when you listen to that early stuff, I think it takes just as much effort, and he's also just a really unique individual, and I don't know. There's also just kind of like it's easy to find a reason to hate someone whenever whenever they become successful, and I think there might be some of that sort of floating around. But I think
that's why you like to hate, is what you're saying?
Nah, the industry is better with him for sure.
Damn.
I also think that he's also been a bridge from like really, really complex music and providing a large scale understanding of like music theory and
making it mainstream a little bit.
Yeah, and providing that to an audience that normally would not be exposed to that sort of thing.
Here's a dumb question. Was there any fashion trends that we were into as kids, or that we made fun of?
That we made fun of?
Yeah.
There's for sure trends. For sure, I mean, without a doubt. I can't think of any that we would have made fun of.
I remember belt buckles were pretty cool for a while.
Oh man, I had some belt buckles.
Had the famous F belt buckle.
I never had that one. There was some that I had, because I had I definitely hopped on that train that had like the studded belts. Remember those?
Yeah.
The black ones with the studs, and and those often had the interchangeable buckle thing, and
with giant ass etnies.
Etnies, yeah. I like the DVS.
Super giant shoe.
Dude, I inherited some shoes from you for a while.
Quite a bit.
The Osiris.
I was pretty jealous because I would give them to you thinking these are done, and then you would show up at school with them like looking brand new. I I was like, can you sell them back? Like, damn.
Dude, that's
just
something.
pays you to clean them. Shit.
You and maybe you did it first. You were definitely the person that got me into shoes, for sure. I mean, not that I didn't like nice shoes before that, but like considering them like as a part of like I guess like the fashion, man, I remember when you first got Bapes.
Oh my god, that was horrible.
People would give you trouble for that, right?
Yeah, like threatening me in the hallway. It's like, hey, just letting you know if you ever wear these again. Oh,
dude, let's talk about that hallway, man. Was that crazy?
Oh, yeah, the fact that you just post up on it, right? Just leaning against the wall. Dude, that's your section. That's that gang.
Yeah, I tell people about that, and it's almost like they don't believe me.
That is kind of crazy to think about it. Yeah, like they would just stare at people walking by as you're walking by, and that was a certain gang wall. You knew that was everyone had a designated area in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and security took forever to respond to fights, which happened every day. Every day.
Yeah. My sister has a story of like one of her friends was like in a stall when some group of girls like walked in the restroom and they just like closed the door behind them so they could let a couple of them like throw it down.
Wow.
And someone's just like in their stall like
Dude, you know what's really messed up though is like drugs were so prominent, dude. Like I'm not saying like besides like everyone just being high though, like you would see different types of highs like in class. Like I was like, damn, how are you functioning like that? You would just be studying a classmate. You know what I mean? Like it was almost entertaining to watch people drugged out. That's horrible to say.
I feel like maybe I saw like I didn't see as much as some other people did because I don't this might be stupid to say, but like because you know how there was like there's like pre-AP and there's also like the general ed. I heard
general population.
Yeah, well, it's like general.
Rude.
I mean, that's where I heard it all went down, man. That's like how it was told to me.
Damn, it's real. Yeah. But also, do you remember battling? Like I was battling in middle school. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like I was doing rap battles in middle school and in high school.
I remember that. I remember the time that I guess like a principal had to break it up or something like that. It was you against Big Aaron.
Wow. Yeah, this guy was
Big
huge.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen or thought of that guy in a long time, but I mean, it's just funny thinking, like, even just imagining that, like, enough people knew how to do that for it to happen in the first place.
Yeah, we were doing like legit battles with circles all around us. Yeah, that was the thing. And then in high school, it turned into like beatboxing. People would bring instruments out until security would break it up. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Because like, it's like, would they do that if you had your band instruments? Probably not.
I don't know. Maybe those things are loud.
I'm just like, we're practicing. I don't know. It's funny how they maintain order and control and stuff.
Yes, those are some times, man.
Hold on, I'm going back over here. Okay, do you remember our secret handshake or code words? Did we have any of that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Did we have epic gaming moments or sports fails?
As sports fans?
Sports fail?
Sports fails. You know, I wasn't...
what games did we love, too? I don't really remember what we played the most.
I mean, I for sure... I mean,
You're obsessed with Tekken.
Yeah, I like those games.
Remember Bloody Roar? Or Smuggler's Run?
Don't know.
Damn.
I mean, Halo 2 was always for sure popular. Do you remember that I'll forever remember that big LAN party that Danny threw?
Oh, yeah.
That was legendary.
Damn.
That's crazy that I wish that happened more than once.
Just even now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Because you get everyone's reaction in real time, right?
Yeah. We just like made it happen in his garage.
See, I used to do that at like an apartment, and we would just like split. Some people would go into the room, some people would go into another room. But yeah, that only happened a very few times, and those were like, dude, the most exciting. It was so basic, dude. It's such a basic experience to waste your time.
Yeah, and now it's like not even possible. I mean, well, with the consoles now, they like there's no way to land with the consoles.
Check out this question. Oh, actually, speaking of consoles, PSP is still underrated, by the way.
Ahead of its time.
Yeah, super ahead of its time. Like, to think that we're still releasing things that can't even do what that was doing is pathetic.
Wasn't it a web browser?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, before phones.
Ahead of its time.
Oh my gosh. Who had the worst haircut, and why did we think it was cool?
And why did we think it was cool?
Yeah. I think it was me.
There's some people that has good hair, man. I don't even. I'll just straight up like I. There's like the why did I think it was cool part just by itself. Like I don't even think it was weird. It was just a dude that had good hair. Shout out to George McSpadden, dude. That guy had
ridiculous.
That guy had good hair, man.
Good set of head on him.
Dude, I know there's a few people that I talk to regularly that see him around every now and then back home. I always wish I could run into him just to say what's up because he was one of the homies for sure.
I heard that it's Car Wash City now. Yeah, Harlingen. Yeah, it's the car wash capital of Texas.
What? What does that even mean?
That they have so many car washes and they keep building them and they keep popping up. Like I just saw a meme of the actual Harlingen H logo with like cars going under the bottom of it as a car wash because that's how. Because that's how many car washes they got. Like they're having meetings, town hall meetings to ask, do you want more of them or not? Should we stop?
I mean, I would feel like based on the last time I was there, like there's enough.
What's even crazier is I started to think, what if there's like a full cycle where you're like doing research, you're like, how do I make these cars dirty so they can come by?
Oh man.
What's the craziest dare or challenge we accepted during a game of Truth or Dare? Do you remember?
I don't even know if we played that enough. Oh.
That's true. Can you remember a time we got lost or ended up somewhere completely unexpected?
Lost or completely unexpected? I mean, that night we were talking about with the eggs is a good one.
I feel like we went out a lot more, though. We definitely, like, that wasn't the only time. But yeah, you're right. All right, hold up. Let's see. Most ridiculous argument, silliest thing we fought over? Anything?
I don't know. It's been pretty straight.
Do you recall any embarrassing moments we witnessed together?
There has to have been.
The lot, our whole lives. Yeah, I can't even think of events right now.
Do you remember that day in this might answer several questions, I don't know. There was a day where this would have been 8th grade, I think, where it was like there was a bunch of people that agreed that they were going to wear white shirts, and a bunch of people agreed that they were going to wear black shirts. It was like rockers and punks were going to wear black, and all the hood dudes were going to wear white. And at lunch, they were just it was just going to be like a massive brawl. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's where I knew you were going there.
That happened 100%. That 100% happened, and I know that because I lit up a few people that day. I just like, you know, gave them like a shoulder to the floor, and then I also got lit up. Like someone took me to the floor.
Damn. That's good. Wasn't there like senior pranks that happened too?
Senior pranks? Nah, wait. I think there was a time where like there was going to be a food fight, you know. But the thing is that I think what kept it from happening was like the teachers let us know it's like if you all do a food fight, you all aren't going to go on that trip you're supposed to go on at the end of the semester or
Damn, we were always off campus too. That was the last era. I was anyway. I was never there. It's horrible to say.
What do you mean?
It was just easy to leave school, so I was never there.
Oh, I see. It was. Yeah. I mean, do you remember how easy it was to like go and play like basketball at bottom or like to play on the playground?
Yeah.
You know, and you could just like it was like the campus was like open enough for you to like just like walk through certain parts of it, like where there was like water fountains and stuff.
Yeah.
And now, if you were to go to, you know, because my folks are still right by there, that whole field that we would use for like PE and stuff, it's completely gated. Like,
oh wow!
They used to have like openings to where you could go in there and like, you know, like communities could play soccer there or something. But I remember Moses Membreno took a motorcycle like to that field one time, and yeah, dude, just and you could just go out into those fields, and now it's completely closed, and there's signs that say like you know, don't trespass, like it's trespassing, and there's cameras, you know, and all this and that, and but yeah, it's because for really terrible reasons.
Any 90s or early 2000 songs that we completely overplayed or we still sing?
Oh yeah. I mean, anything Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, every once in a while, you know, I like I was saying, I get on those like those times where I just like listen to a bunch of rock, you know, like from that era.
Man, Snow was such a crazy song.
So yeah, legendary song. That song's gonna be 20 years old next year.
Oh no! Damn.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Did we ever dress up like our favorite pop stars and bands? Any cringe-worthy outfits?
I mean, talent show. I never did the talent show, man. I wish I had something to do, or that I had the guts to figure out something to do, but I just never did.
Let's see, our most memorable WWE match or wrestler. I'm sure you're going to say Eddie.
Had to be.
Who has the best entrance? Not the song, just the entrance.
I mean, the song's part of it, but Triple H. Triple H had a great one. You know, because he had the mist.
That's the intro, right?
Yeah. It's all about the game.
Rey Mysterio's undeniable, dude.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels. I
think Sting was my favorite also because of my brother.
Oh, nice. Dude, how is your brother, man?
Pretty good. It's just weird that he's got kids now. So I got nephews and nieces and stuff.
Where does he live?
In Austin. Yeah, basically.
Cool, man. I remember just like always kind of tripping out like how you all were like kind of like y'all are like spitting images of each other.
It's kind of weird to say it. Even more so today. Went to a baseball game and my mom was like, he's wearing all black. I'm like, he's looking like me. What is going on? But even my nephew's like black now, you know? So it's weird how young they are.
Man, that's cool. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, it's a trip how time goes. I don't even talk to him as much as I should, to be honest. And he's pretty much down the street. Like, he's not even a block from me. But which Y2K bug or end of the year or end of the world rumor did we actually believe that might happen? Do you remember any of that? Remember I used to tell you I was going Super Saiyan? Remember that? I'd be running with you. Go ahead, tell him. Tell him.
We all... That's funny, dude.
Tell him what you remember. Go ahead.
I mean, you were just so much faster than me, man.
It's nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it.
Sure it is.
I was so young. I feel so dumb for saying it. I was trying to convince you I was a Super Saiyan. That's basically it, right?
I mean, why not?
You were so much faster than me. I love it. But any Y2K jokes?
I mean, I think 2012 had everyone.
Oh yeah,
everyone thinking, right?
Mayans.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever. I don't think I actually ever thought the world was going to end, but I was curious because there was like something, everyone was thinking something was going to happen.
Dude, what about...
Maybe something did, I don't know.
What about... Did you have any ringtones that were embarrassing? Or a phone cover?
Embarrassing ringtones. You know what? I really did not have my own phone, my own cell phone until I was like in 9th grade. And even then, it wasn't like a huge part of my day to day because, like it just like my parents didn't have it like set up like with, like unlimited texting or anything like that, so.
Damn, that was the thing, dude. Oh yeah. God. That's horrible. Yeah,
man. Did it count words?
Nah, it was just how many messages you sent. That's a good point, though. That's funny.
Well, I just remember, you would, and you could also like totally mess someone up. Like if they had reached their cap already and you kept texting them, you could say, man.
Yeah, but you still kept receiving them, man.
Like my mom's pissed because you sent me 50 text messages after I. Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, there were some outrageous phone bills in my life for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I didn't have. I would say like it was probably like maybe. Maybe like sophomore year was like when I started having a phone like pretty regular. Or was it?
Just started collecting girls' numbers? I see.
Nah, it was never like that.
Which video game console were we obsessed with? Longest running gaming session?
I mean, the PS2, man, it was good. The PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, like the Xbox.
Yeah.
I think those were the ones because those are the ones that had like Halo, and then PS2 were the ones that had the wrestling games and the Need for Speeds.
Dude, what a luxury to be like bored of a game and just take it out and do a different one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you know what? You know, we were talking about how different it is now, you know, and the appreciation of digital stuff. Because now it's like even if you go and you buy a disc for a game, you still got to download a bunch of other shit before you're able to play it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, oh, you got this update, and it could be 3 hours before you're able to play the game. But then it was just like you put it in, game was ready to go. That's it. And yeah, there's something to be said about how.
Yeah, they're trying to remake CDs again, but like with this, they're like way thicker, but it can hold like I don't know how many like terabytes, like an insane amount of memory. Yeah, but it's all about it's literally all about storing it, and the shape is way thicker. But I was like, that means you'd have to invent a whole new technology to read the disc too, though. So
yeah,
let's see. Did you try any? No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think like consoles have already made so much effort to go just like discless, you know, and to go completely digital. It just seems like counterproductive at this point to try to figure out another format.
Did we ever try any extreme sports or fads? Like, oh, dude, I was going to bring up a skating rink. I was obsessed with that.
Oh, yeah. That was a cool place.
I still have dreams about it, dude.
Had a couple of birthday parties there. I was never, like, super great.
Some of my best memories, for sure.
Yeah. Was that super popular? Was there, like, hella people that going to that?
It was just, like, on a weekend thing, dude. Okay, let me tell you the best part.
Because you used to work there, right?
Yeah. But the reason I worked there was because my brother worked there before me. So I was working there at 15 for, like, $5.85 under the table. Like, they wouldn't... I wasn't supposed to be working there legally yet. But I was running the office, the concessions, fixing skates, running the dance floor, doing the DJ. I was dancing with them, doing the games. Like, I was doing everything at 15. But I'm trying to think of what the funnest part was. I think it was just the fact that we would have dance battles in the middle of the skating rink. So everybody's skating around while people are just battling each other, like completely ignoring it. But I'm also the DJ, so I'd be running to the booth, changing the song, going back to the middle of the floor. Sometimes I'm not even on skates. You know what I mean? Sometimes I was on skates. I'd just be like doing everything. Someone needs help at the fucking skate counter, and now I got to go change the song. So I'm just constantly, someone needs concessions. So I was running it, is my point. And the funnest part, here it is. Sometimes they would do lock-ins. And the whole place, dude, they would turn all the lights out at a certain time. So the entire skating rink is black, and you'd see like the glow lights from the ceiling. And then they would have a ton of smoke. So you'd have lasers and smoke, and you could barely see in front of you, and you're skating through the smoke.
I was never there for one of that.
It was the funnest shit. And I could never stay for like the actual lock-ins. People would get stabbed all the time, sneak out. Yeah, emergencies would happen like all the time. So I wasn't even really allowed to like work them or stay there.
Get stabbed?
Dude, yeah, people would always have weapons and shit. And it turned into like people would get patted down and then had the metal detector, and I'm like, dude, I'm so young. This is a skating rink. Where are we?
Why? Who was doing that? Like, just like people were gangbanging in the
Jim Romo. He was my manager. That was his name. But it's just the fact that it got real ghetto, dude. Like they would be patting you down and making sure you didn't have guns, knives, weapons, all that to come into a skating rink, and it was packed, dude, all the way to the door. All the way. Just think about it. There's music all around you. You're playing all the top 40 stuff. T-Pain was popping, of course.
Wow.
Young Jock was probably popping too. T.I. was huge.
For sure.
Man.
I mean, I remember listening just to like a bunch of like just the early 2000s stuff, like Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, or Blue by Eiffel 65.
Oh wow!
You know, like that stuff here.
Damn.
Or like
Mambo number 5.
Yeah, Better Off Alone. You heard like that kind of like.
Dude, you know what gives me a really good feeling when I hear it? Early Maroon 5.
Really?
Yeah, like I like love the time. It reminds me of like early music videos of staying up late, and I'm like, oh, Linkin Park, Crawling is on again. That's the type of time period where it's like Usher's Confessions is on again, the video.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that era. For me, it's not Maroon 5 though. In fact, I don't think I like Maroon 5.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm just like that the breakout stuff though. You know what I mean?
For some reason,
She Will Be Loved. She Will Be Loved is a classic.
It is. That is. You know, I just think for me, like I just always had something against Adam. And I'm serious. And then when all this shit came out, I thought like I knew it. Like it was like I knew there was something wrong with this guy.
So what happened? I don't know what happened. What happened? Oh no.
Are you serious?
What happened?
Isn't he just like a POS? Like he like cheated on his girl and had like a baby with someone else and like tried
Is this why he's out of the spotlight now, I guess? Probably.
No. I think I got that wrong. I think he cheated on his girl, but was having a baby with her, like with his girl, and was gonna name that child after the person he cheated on her with.
What?
Cheated on her with something crazy like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But whatever it was, it was just like, man, I always knew there was something up with that guy. He was.
What?
Yeah,
that's funny.
I don't know.
It's all the Levines. Can you name all of the members of your favorite boy band?
Favorite boy band?
Yeah, did you have a boy band?
I mean, I think it's hard to say that you don't. Well, let's see. That's NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were like the quintessential boy bands. And Backstreet Boys had AJ.
Let's not even compare them now. Let's not even compare them. We get into the stats, and I'll be like, bro.
It's apples and oranges, my friend, I think.
NSYNC sold like 75 million, I believe, or 65 million. They were only around for 4 years. Bounced.
And Backstreet Boys?
That didn't even matter. They came back. They don't count.
I wonder what the numbers are. I'm curious, though.
Oh, they really can't compete, dude.
It's not like it's significantly less than NSYNC?
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
I mean, the thing is that Lou Pearlman ran both of them, though. Have you seen that documentary?
Nah, I haven't.
So the guy that invested in Backstreet also invested in NSYNC. He made both of them, and then he put them against each other to rival each other. So he was he was also a POS because at the end of the NSYNC tour, he gave him like a check for 10 grand. At the end of the biggest tour of their life, they all got 10 grand, and they're like, wait, we could have worked a minimum wage job, guys. So JC started the lawsuit, basically. He's like, he did the math and was like, dude, we could have been like at our jobs. We never had to go on tour, and we would have made more money. Think about that.
This was what group?
NSYNC. This was like after Madison Square Garden, bro. You just did the biggest gig of your life, and you're like, congratulations. And they're expecting this huge payout. And they're like, wait, all this work?
$10,000?
Yeah. It's a pretty sick story.
Yeah, that sounds... Yeah, it's just it's outrageously low.
You got to see the documentary, dude. It's worth it. It's pretty good.
What is it on?
I'm pretty sure it's even on YouTube. Lou Pearlman documentary. It's called The Boy Band Con. The Lou Pearlman story. It is on... Wow. Why doesn't it tell me? Interesting. All right. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube, though. Came out in 2019. I found it's a YouTube original. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
I see.
Yeah. Any final jokes before we wrap this though?
Final jokes?
Hell yeah, because I can keep them coming. I didn't ask the funny ones. We can get to the funny ones real quick. Hold up. Why haven't aliens contacted us?
Because they're here.
That's a pretty good answer, honestly. That's a pretty good answer. I don't know why people don't think like that. What's the best way to start a cult?
The best way to start a cult?
Yeah.
Man, that's a good
Play really good music.
Yeah, shit.
Hey, did you see that image of Russia exposing their Black Jesus photo?
No.
Yeah, Putin like opens this like ancient thing and it's like a picture of Jesus, the original, and it's like a black photo. It looks like a Jamaican dude with dreads, basically.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm like, everyone's questioning if it's real or not. So I'm just curious if you saw it.
No, I have not.
Because that's who I've been praying to.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious. All right. Any ideas for time travel best used for personal revenge? What would you do?
Time travel best used for personal revenge.
What would you do?
Holy crap.
I came back in time just to mess with you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
All right, I'll go to the next one.
It's like you could get really, really creative with that, you know?
I expected more from you.
It's like imagine like I go back to spring 2002, and like right before you're gonna go on the stage for the talent show, I just like trip your ass.
Yeah, it's so stupid. You're like, this is for all those big head jokes.
It's like Joseph Reina, and I just like stick my foot out from behind the curtain.
So dumb.
You never see me. You know,
it's the most SpongeBob shit I've ever heard. Oh, dude, that's another topic, and it's so fun.
It is. That is a huge topic.
It's just a cultural phenomenon in itself. But it's because Patrick was so funny.
It's also disappearing, man. My sister teaches second grade, and she was telling me how she was playing SpongeBob for her class, like on a free day, and they thought it was boring.
Oh, what?
It sucks.
What?
And it sucks because it's like if you watch, because you know they're still making SpongeBob now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like super dumbed down, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like a clown act, you know. At this point, it's like just making the characters look stupid.
It's all of it. I feel like that about Teen Titans too.
Yeah, I mean,
they have a kids version of it now.
Anything now, right? It just kind of has like that element of, you know, and
it's all fast and dumb, and just
it has to do reaction with like the attention span, right? You know, because before, how it used to be, you know, like you would watch, when you were watching TV, there'd be 30 minutes of a show, and it would be broken into two like 13-minute episodes, right? Because there's commercials. Now it's like 3 8-minute episodes.
Damn.
Because now they're much smaller.
The stories move quicker.
Yeah, and for me, and so it's like no wonder they think it's boring, because it's like it's just operating on a different way, you know, operating in a different way.
Yeah, it takes too long to get to the point.
And also, I do feel like that era of SpongeBob, and perhaps one of the reasons why it's lasting so long for our generation, is that it was super witty in like a really mature way.
Yeah, it was adult humor.
Yeah, it's super. super funny. Yeah, Patrick was definitely an essential. But I started to really, really appreciate Squidward because, dude, the person that made me realize this was Travis, and he was telling me how it was just like Squidward is the only like normal person.
He's all pissed.
And he's just surrounded by a bunch of idiots.
I've never thought about it like that.
It's like everyone is crazy. Like Mr. Krabs, crazy ass. Right? Patrick, crazy ass. SpongeBob, lunatic. Right? Like everyone is just like absurdly weird.
Plankton.
Yep. Yeah. They're all just super weird, dude. And Squidward is, he's just like the regular guy that just
wants to play his clarinet.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Wants to be successful.
Off formal with a mustache, I think of that, yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah, one of the funnier episodes is when he has a whole town for him. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. That's right. It's like the community, the country club or whatever. And he's like, he gets like the canned bread, right?
Can't believe you know the detail. It's so dumb.
Man, yeah, dude. I remember that.
You were always good at that too. You would always know like word for word, or you had the whole scene memorized. And
dude,
shit.
I still got that shit down. Swear to God.
So stupid.
Swear to God.
So dumb. I love it.
Because here at school, it's the same, man. Like, we're just a bunch of people sitting at desks, and there's a teacher in front, and every once in a while it's like, and dude, some of the stuff that's like, this is a load of particles, like, or I'll do one more because it's that like, hey, funny guy, I got a joke for you. But there's
oh yeah, dude. Or all the, because you did the whispering, and it made me think of the one where he's like, "Get a load of this guy," or the ones where he's like dying and he has like the lips about to say like last words.
Oh yeah. Hey, buddy. Just blowing from Stupid Town.
It's so dumb. Oh, dude, there's what about the one where he's like left on the side of a road of a bus stop? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That one's a good one too.
All the people are. That's how they talk.
So
right?
dumb. Delivering the pizza's a good one. The pirate ship one's a good one. Another classic.
Pirate ship's one of my favorites, man. Yeah. Wet paint, when they had to paint Mr. Krabs' house.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Is it
the one where they sell candy?
Chocolate with nuts.
That's
a good one. It's a really good one.
Mr. Schmitty, he was number one.
Yeah,
super iconic.
I have my sister actually gifted me this. It's like a blanket that has the number one figure.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool. Damn.
Yeah, she got it like on Etsy or something.
Also, the whole concept that Sandy's like a Texan squirrel that lives in a bubble.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's crazy. It's out there.
It's pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on. Hold on, we're almost done here. How to be wrong all the time. You want to make a guide for that?
How to be wrong all the time.
All right, we'll move to the next one. The Earth is flat, and other fun fairy tales. All right, next. Diplomacy. Why talk when you can just insult everyone?
Dude, have you ever watched the Shane Gillis stand-up special in Austin?
Dude, he's so funny, dude.
He is, man.
I haven't seen that one though, but I need to watch that one.
It's really, really good.
He's like, observational on another level, right? Because you can't believe he can keep a straight face with the shit he says sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I won't try to like recreate anything of his because it's like it just doesn't do it justice. But he does. He brings up how the 2016 presidential debates will like never, like there won't be anything ever as good as that ever.
I do remember this
because he just says
like quoting him.
It's like
he does a good Trump impression.
He does. It's freakishly good. And he just talks about it. He's like, yeah, he's like they just sent up a bunch of politicians to debate him, and it just wasn't fair because he's just some maniac that just insults people. It's like everyone was like trying to like talk politics, and he's just like, Ted's wife ugly as a dog.
It's so true.
Just like goes for the jugular immediately.
Pretty good tone though. You had a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, I mean, you gotta watch Shane do it, right? Dude, it's really, really good.
Here's the next one: The Art of Ghosting Friends and Family, Avoidance Level 1000.
Oh man, I don't think I mean, apologies to anyone that maybe I haven't talked to in a while, but
tomato. Boo.
Nah, I feel like I'm in touch with everyone that I want to be. Tomato. Word. I like
RuneScape.
that. I gotta use that. But nah, dude. But being ghosted sucks. Being ghosted sucks.
You got some heartbreaks you haven't been talking about?
Nah, not really. It's just that like, I don't know. I feel like maybe as we've gotten older, like I think people have realized that like, oh, maybe I don't need this person in my life anymore, and it's like you can't even be mad at that, So
that's fair. All right, next one. Who needs the environment anyway? A debate on why trees are overrated. You want to go first?
Why trees are overrated? That's what I've been saying.
You need more paper.
Birds aren't real either.
How am I supposed to wipe my bottom if I have to stare at this tree? Why are we climbing it? All right.
Yeah, dude.
Next one. Conspiracy Theories 101, teaching you how to question everything but your own beliefs.
This is supposed to be like.
I'm hoping that you'll roll into some great opinions. All right, here's the next one.
Yeah, say that last one again.
Oh shit! All right. Conspiracy Theories 101, teaching you how to question everything except your own beliefs.
I mean, that's what it's all about, right? That's why everyone's mad at each other.
That's kind of true, actually. What was the most ridiculous thing we convinced ourselves to believe about the new millennium? Like, did we think cars would start flying? I think hoverboards I thought would be here.
Well, what's that thing? It's like flying cars do exist. They're helicopters.
What? Because they have wheels on them?
No, it's because it's like the kind of force that would be required for a car to fly. That's like how it would happen. It would have to be some sort of
propellers. Yeah.
And so that's like that, and that would have to become, exponentially more efficient for us to have flying cars.
Did you know I wrote a white paper on this?
You wrote a paper on this?
Yeah, it's called. You can read it at tinyurl.com/air policy reform. Basically, I made air laws to make flying cars real. Like I consolidated all the research, did all the historical background, and then proposed how to like redraw the lines to make cars in a lower, airspace. and how to roll it out. And then I sent the letter to all of the organizations, all the aviation, nonprofit, everybody that cares, even all the airlines. And then I'm like, hey, if you have any grants available, let me know.
Interesting.
But I provide my research just to hope, like, hey, even if I'm not an expert, I want to hit up the experts because maybe they can advance the field. You know what I mean?
I see.
That's the point of it. I want people to use my work to go, like, propel the field forward.
Oh, okay. I see.
Do you remember any, this is a weird one. Did we wear any, like, dumb jewelry?
Jewelry?
Because I know pants were dumb, dude. The pants were, like, super baggy. But did we wear, like, anything dumb?
There was that trend of, like, that like, shell necklace, like, white one. You know, everyone had that. There's, like, white shells.
You're just gonna gloss over the Livestrong band, huh?
Oh, I rocked those forever. I rocked those in all colors.
I still wear it. For Lance.
Yeah. I had like the LeBron James one for Lance.
Missed it.
Just all this time for Lance. Oh man, like I had the King James ones.
That one was cool though.
And then every once in a while, like there was like, you know, you would go to some function and there would be
Eventually you just had your whole arm full.
People would do that, man. Like literally their whole arms.
Dude, I thought the coolest thing was whenever people would make you bracelets and then tie them on you and then just like cut them off. Like make sure they couldn't be cut off is what I meant. Never got those?
Like
gifted bracelets?
The friend ones?
Yeah.
I had one of those for sure.
You had one friend?
Or one that thought of making one of those for me. Couldn't even tell you who it was. I know I had one.
Me either, dude. Like, who's carrying those around? Let's see. Hold up. Did we ever get creative? Oh, wait. What about dances? Are we going to talk about the Soulja Boy and the Dougie and any of that?
Those are all still I went to a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and some of those are still going.
Are you proud to do them?
The wobble.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really see Soulja Boy that much anymore, but it's fun to know what the dance is though. Especially if you're around other people that know it too. Right?
So dumb. I cannot see you doing it.
Why not?
I don't know. It's so weird. It's the most basic dance. It's not even hard.
I don't think it's supposed to be hard.
I know, and it just makes me think, like, compared to TikTok dances today, bro, it's nothing. Like, basic.
I'm glad I saw at the airport there was a couple of girls that were like trying this one dance over and over again. It was like, God.
My favorite part is that ever since TikTok removed all the music, it's just a bunch of this on silent. Literally, there's no music. There's just a bunch of videos of people with their old videos, no music. They're just moving all weird. Yeah, because UMG removed all the music from TikTok.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the music labels are in a war right now, dude. There's a lot of musicians suffering from that, actually.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I've never had TikTok, so I guess I've
number one website in the world. You didn't know?
Well, I guess I just never had it.
Are you trying to get on it though? Do you think you will?
Nah.
It's a time suck, dude. And honestly, it took like 2 years for the algorithm to like learn my patterns, to like start giving me stuff to where I'm kind of like, I'm stuck. I can't get out of this one.
I think it's because I'm already at a point where like I remember when like Facebook Reels started and YouTube Shorts started, and I was like upset about it, like because like there's no option for you to like not have it. And now I like find myself spending like way too much time on that. And dude, it's like I get annoyed with it so quickly. I don't know why I spend time on it. Like just hearing like the same like royalty free music on every other video. It's so annoying. And now with like YouTube Shorts, like anyone can make stuff, from like with the phone,
Yeah.
And so it's like I watch a lot of basketball clips, so YouTube Shorts throws me a lot of like basketball related shorts, and it'll be like some, I don't know, some lame ass block by somebody, and someone will put like coldest play of the year, with the shiver emoji.
You're just over it. You're over the false advertising.
It's just like anything that's like even like, yeah. I feel like that's the
clickbait.
That
was a good one.
Yeah. God damn it.
Dude, anything that has me like, look, if I'm on an app and I start doing this like multiple times within like less than 10 seconds, there's a problem, bro. That's crazy. To swipe out of multiple videos in less than 10 seconds, I'm like, all right, I think I'm off this for good.
I don't like it, man.
That does say a lot, though, dude, about attention span, though. It's kind of interesting. Like, where that's evolving. Like, is that a good thing? To have people that can multitask like that? I
don't know if this will be... because I know you're trying to wrap up, but to come full circle to how this... one of the first conversations we had today, you were talking about your friend from Bulgaria, Alexandria, was it?
Alexandria, yeah.
And she was talking about how I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like the sustainability or the market for orchestras and stuff like that. Man, I feel kind of like irresponsible bringing this up because I can't remember the name of the person that I heard talking about this. But essentially, there's this conversation about how, because do you know how long, like symphonies and operas are?
Like performances?
Yeah.
Hours,
right? And the consumer, like if you were a fan of music or a fan of live art at that time, that's what you were going to sit down and do. And when
or Broadway, right? It was part of the Broadways.
And when I went to, like, when I studied abroad in Austria, like I watched a Wagner opera in the State Opera House in Vienna, and was in the standing room only section, like you would have been, 200 years ago, or less than that. Yeah, you sit there and you watch for like 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and it's that stuff is captivating. And
you didn't yawn once. You're like stuck in it, like in a trance the whole time.
Well, so it's funny you say that because, well, first of all, there's some hard parts about it because it's like you're standing in that time, right? And so yeah, there was a part where there was times where I was like, God damn it, like I'm tired of standing, But you're also watching just like some, like one of the best, just productions
you'll ever see.
Yeah, and done by some of the best to ever do it. And
so it's the least of your worries.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, we were talking about movies earlier too, right? And how I believe that movies we might see that go obsolete in our lifetime. And it's funny, you said the trance, right? This conversation, man, I'm trying to remember the name as I'm telling you this, but he was basically talking about how us as as art consumers, we have the ability to enter the trance state. It's like whenever you're watching a great movie, or you're watching a crazy live concert, you're at a live concert and it's like, you just get into this zone where there's nothing else going on other than you appreciating what's happening in that moment, right? And the fact that media, like especially in the form of these TikToks, 30-second videos or 60-second YouTube shorts or whatever, it is there's a conversation that is saying like it is essentially unraveling the ability to be able to enter that trance state when you're trying to enjoy art. So it's gonna hurt. Like it'll hurt everything. It's like how hard is it how hard would it be to get someone that's really young to enjoy Stairway to Heaven? Or to listen to Master of Puppets, like these 7.5 minute long songs, because they're so used to consuming these things that are like 15 seconds long, and I don't know. I feel like it's a problem, and I think that there's room for like these quick things, It's like I feel like I'm a fan of the cooking stuff. You see those recipes unfold. It's like you don't have to go watch an hour-long Paula Deen video.
Yeah.
But it's like that. I don't think that 15 to 30-second spiels should be the pinnacle of what we're trying to do.
What's also interesting though is I feel like the culture that you're a part of and like school and whatnot, like having standards, like there's still going to be people born into like caring about music, right? Like you're always going to have to study the origins, the history, if you ever want to become like a serious professional on that level. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, I get your fear, but I feel like the purpose that you exist is so that you force people to like appreciate those things. That's literally your purpose, no?
I get that. I just don't want. It's just like how like right now the orchestra, like the way we were talking about it a second ago,
mm-hmm.
How it's like how how scarce they are these days.
Yeah.
I think I was arguing the other side of that earlier, but and compared to what it used to be, they are scarce
for sure.
I just don't want I don't want film to turn into that.
How many other countries also treat music as like a prestigious thing as opposed to America?
I would say a good. Actually, you know what? That's a good question. I feel it's different because there's this could turn into a huge conversation, but if you go to South America and all the countries that are along like the East Coast, like you think of like Brazil, especially Brazil, because Brazil has such a huge part in the development of jazz.
I didn't know that.
Afro-Brazilian music.
Wow.
But the thing is that music to them is ceremonial and a part of their everyday life. It's like that. The thing that I think oftentimes what happens is that other people will learn about those sounds and incorporate it into their music in a way that's kind of novelty. A novelty is not the right word, but they use that sound to create something that's inspired by that. But yeah, it's like even like if you go to New Orleans, it's like the music is a part of is the culture there, and if you go to Europe, art is just appreciated a different way over there because, because first of all it's a much older they're much older societies over there, and so much of Western music was born over there and developed there for literally hundreds of years.
Damn.
And if you're talking about a lot of what we talked about today, jazz, rock and roll, jazz is like about 100 years old. Rock and roll, about 70 years old. And you're trying to, and you go and you try to talk about Western music, like that's been around.
It's not very much.
For
not very much talk
300 years.
Yeah.
Talking about music that was, people that were writing music that we're still talking about to this day, hundreds of years ago. It's just on a completely different level, and
now we got Drake.
Yeah, no,
messed up.
But everyone hates him now, though, right?
That's weird. Thing? Yeah, and it's weird because like CDs are one of those gifts that I remember more than anything. I remember getting Justified as a CD, and I remember getting like probably like the horrible Relapse Eminem CD, like a clean version on accident. But I also remember getting Drake's Thank Me Later CD gifted to me. That's crazy. That was such a good album. That was such a good album.
Yeah, I remember listening to Encore with you a lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What? Damn, dude! Never enough.
And the music videos, with Nate Dogg
and 50 Cent.
Yeah, we used to watch the music video to Shake That. the cartoon one, right?
Gonna have a party.
Yeah,
turn
dude.
The music
my
up.
God, dude! I was revisiting some of that lately or recently with a friend of mine who's really into hip hop, and just kind of like appreciating like how great that music was, man, because it really was.
Bro, and yeah, Eminem's like flow and transition. Bro, they throw this thing on with this Akon shit. They better bank on for Smack That. Remember that one?
Yeah,
that was crazy. Yeah, that was, man. Akon and Eminem would never happen now. It's so cool to think about it, honestly.
That what's that
These chicks don't even know the name of my band.
That's D12, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we were watching the music videos of that at a friend's house the other day. That's
so funny, dude. Yeah. Dude, you watch M now, and you're like, you appreciate that he like didn't take himself so serious now. You're like, man, we needed that so bad, dude. Yeah. And he's the most successful artist of like the last. He had a whole decade, #1. Think about that. Humility, bro.
He's still great. It's just that as it's hard to stay the same. It's hard to not change and have an audience that that stays with you like that. There's very few artists and groups that remain the same and do not change and maintain a following.
I've gone back and I've listened to like Lose Yourself, like the live performances, and every time it gets to the third verse, I realize, oh, this all makes sense. Like it completely makes sense. Like there's just not many songs where you look at the writing and you're like, whoa, it progressively just gets better and better and better as you like read it. It's interesting, dude, how like timeless.
And the track I was trying to remember a second ago is The Way I Am.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Wait. No, there's one more before that one. There was the one where he's in the superhero outfit with Dre and they're in the car. He's dressed as Robin.
Yeah. What record is that though?
I know this one. This is Without Me. Dude, the Without Me instrumental is so good. The hook for Without Me. Now this looks like a job for me. So everybody follow me.
Yeah.
Super good. The instrumental on that is so good. That's an underrated Eminem song still.
And it's kind of neat because it's, well, you know, you hear his earliest stuff that was popular, which I guess would be D12. No, really pop, like really, or Slim Shady.
Yeah, LP. That was the classic. Yeah.
You know, and then it goes through, like Encore. Is Encore the one that had?
Yeah, and then Curtain Call.
Yeah. Which is the one that had?
Encore is like Mockingbird,
Mockingbird,
isn't it?
and
the When I'm Gone.
Yeah, When I'm Gone is the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like really super poetic.
Deep. That one's deep.
Yeah, it's extremely poetic. And then it turns into the one that came out like in 07, the one with Not Afraid.
Oh yeah.
No, and he starts doing all those features like with B.O.B. and
the Rihanna one.
Yeah,
the Rihanna.
Oh,
I can't tell you what it really is.
Yeah, I feel that was like right before people started hating.
Watch You Burn or whatever. Yeah.
It's not like it was because of that song or something, but because and after that was what, Relapse.
I think they just overplayed the shit out of that song too, though.
Yeah, and then there was like a few projects since then, like Kamikaze came out, and he like dissed a bunch of people, and there was the MGK, yeah. Which, by the way, how can anyone listen to those exchanges and even possibly think that MGK did anything like to raise a candle to M? It's like, it is hot garbage. Like, no depth to it at all.
M was just pissed that he talked about his daughter, though, and then he accidentally just gave him a platform by responding, you know?
So annoying.
That really did elevate him, though. Think about it.
It did. So annoying.
It's pretty genius, but yeah, you're right. It's pretty good. I think we're winding down. Who else should we shout out? Any other artists that deserve? How about Ludacris?
Ludacris. You know,
or Nelly.
Oh man. I mean, both of those guys, man. Ride With Me by Nelly, dude, that's just like
classic.
That's about as classic as it gets. You know, there's it's interesting because since, you know, all the days that we've been talking about, who I guess I would call my favorite artist of all time has come and gone. And that's Mac Miller.
Damn, I knew you were gonna say that.
That's
so strange.
Mac Miller's my favorite artist of all time.
To see someone rise and then go is real weird.
That's fast.
Yeah, that's also weird because that's all my fan base. So that explains why you're supportive of me too, because all Mac Miller fans are technically my fans. Hey, what was the classroom story? After all, remember you were gonna ask your class about a tweet, an argument, like it was like a specific music.
Oh yeah, well, because the tweet was like whitewashing music with music theory, right?
Yeah, that was so dumb.
Yeah, that is such an L take. I mean,
he was trying to say that music theory was created for what? To like dumb down, what was it? To simplify it?
Yeah, it was.
It was trying to say it
also like that it made it more white or something like that, which is such a bad take. I mean, And there's conversations about like how music theory and our understand like our Western understanding of music theory and the reason why it is the for much of the globe the widely accepted way of understanding music, why it is the way it is, which is a phenomenon that does involve a racist history. But it doesn't. But I don't think that having an understanding of music and why it works and how it has helped people understand a way to create it, and to, like, when you hear something that you've never heard before, why does it sound like that? Having a way to explain that with a means of some science. There's like the science, and then there's the art form. There's the science part of it too. There's both. It's just it's required. There's a really great quote from a conductor. His name is I believe it's Brian Robertson, and he was talking about kind of, it's like what defines art. And, because he's a conductor, he's talking about music, and he was saying, he's like, let's say, for example, that Isaac Newton, was sitting under that apple tree, and because the whole story of apple falls, and it helps him, it makes him ponder up the
gravity
for gravity. And it's like, if for some reason the apple that fell was one mother of an apple, and it hits Isaac on the head and kills him, because like there's still someone one day was going to come up with a theory for gravity, because it exists, and it's a science. It was there for us to define. However, if Paul McCartney did not exist, yesterday would have never been written. Because it's like, who?
It's a little different.
You know what I mean? It's like
interesting.
It's like no one else was going to write yesterday, and you can say that for any song.
That's interesting. What's the difference then? Like, creative pursuits are a little different than like no one asked for the creative song, right? That's not something we needed, is what I think we're getting at.
Yeah, I think it's the same reason why, even though we only have 12 notes in our Western scale, our Western understanding scale, and we all speak the same language that comes out of the same dictionary, why we're still constantly coming up with music that has never been made before. And
wow.
It's because everyone is coming from their own unique set of experiences and influences, and so everyone has their own story to tell and their own way to tell it, and because of that, it's art, and circling back to the
original tweet was basically trying to downplay why music language exists, trying to say that it's like white people whitewashed music. And then I remember I was saying, dude, it's so these people can communicate with each other while they're playing their songs. What are you talking about? It's the language.
Yeah, and
how did it turn into a race thing? To me, I interpreted it as, wow, this person's lazy and doesn't want to read the language. I know I can't read the language, but I'm not going to go blame the culture on whitewashing it.
Yeah, it's a bad take. It's a really bad take.
It's kind of egotistical, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it's, you have to consider, it's like, that's our way of understanding what we do at all levels, and it's used to define everything, basically, instrumentals would not be what they are, if and they would not evolve if there was no way to to be able to explain and replicate it. And music theory is how we do that.
Also, you're one of the only people that I send my unreleased music to. So tell the world what I sent you recently. Tell them your thoughts. Just roast me.
It's it's a collab. It's a very, 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 very fun collab, and no, people don't know about it yet. Still,
I mean, I kind of announced it, but I'm just like, no one's heard it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. It's cool, man. I can't deny, nor should anyone deny your the tenacity you've had over these years. You're still doing your thing. There's a lot of people that come and go, but you're still here and you're still doing it.
Still doing a little music thing. You too, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's a good way to end it, though. You want to advertise anything or promote anything?
Nah, just good talking to you.
Shit, tell them about your school, bro. Tell them your credentials a little bit, what you're studying, what you aspire to be. Come on, anything.
Well, currently studying jazz studies at the University of Northern Colorado in my first year of a 3-year program, and hopefully in spring 2026, I'll have a doctor before my name, and that will be essentially what I need to be able to teach exactly what I'm studying at a university, which is my dream. I taught college for 5 years prior to this, and I was really blessed to be able to do that without a doctorate. There's a lot of mentors that I can thank who trusted me with that opportunity when I got it, because I was teaching college at 24 years old.
Damn.
And that was an opportunity that I'll never take for granted. I was way too young. They
trusted you.
But it allowed me to grow and learn a lot very quickly, because it kind of just like got thrown into the fire a little bit, and I ended up falling in love with that level of, your students at that level. It's like I hesitate to even just like draw that barrier, because they're your collaborators at that point. They're going to school to become collaborators and teachers of their own. I'm coming to school to, further sharpen my skills and to become more knowledgeable in the field that I'm trying to teach in. And my love is Black American music, that we call jazz. And
if anyone wants to hire you for anything, what do you specifically look for? What kind of gigs do you look out for?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would be most qualified to be a director of jazz studies, which is kind of like be like an overseer of all the jazz operations at an institution, or the jazz saxophones professor.
I was just thinking someone might see this and they might want to hire you and just pay you for saxophone playing. I don't know. You never know.
I mean, there's a lot of people doing what I do, man, and there's a lot of people that do it at such a high level, and that's why I'm here, because I'm trying to get on that level. And I have a lot of friends who deserve great jobs, and I hope they get them. And it's a very, very competitive market. Because lots of schools only have one person that does the kind of thing that I'm talking about, and so it's like, and not every university has a jazz program. or
Damn.
And so if you think about even a state like Texas, a big state, how many universities are there in Texas? Like, let's say that you can name quickly 20 to 25, right? Not all of those are going to have the kind of position that I'm looking for, and the ones that do, they're held by someone that's going to hold on to it for a long time,
Damn.
And so when those jobs open up, there are many applicants.
Damn, it's even worse.
And they'll all be extremely qualified, and so you just kind of have to find ways to make
kind of work around it,
to make yourself stand out and be a qualified candidate, So I'm hoping that by the time I graduate, I will have a significant amount of experience for someone my age, and I'm hoping that'll help me, separate myself a little bit when the time comes.
Badass.
God willing.
Trying to think of anything else I want to ask you. Damn. I guess just send my regards to the fam, dude. Tell everybody what's up.
Yeah, same.
We did a whole 3-hour pod, so it's going to be fun to chop this one.
Cool.
A lot of laughter in this. So
and hopefully
appreciate it.
Hopefully we can do it again.
Hell yeah, dude. Maybe when some relevant news hits, I'll hit you up to see if you want to talk about it. How about that?
Sure.